In late 2005, former Chula Vista Mayor Steve Padilla was about to fill a vacant city council seat when he says he was contacted by District Attorney Dumanis.
I received a call from Bonnie in my office encouraging me to support one of the candidates who was an employee of hers in her office and a friend.
Padilla says he told Dumanis no because he needed to replace the outgoing councilwoman with another female Democrat.
She was disappointed. I think she felt strongly about Jesse.
Critics have long accused Dumanis, who is seeking a fourth term as DA, of improperly wading into politics by endorsing candidates. But insiders say that 2005 phone call to Padilla crossed a line. It melded politics and prosecutor, raising questions about her motives in the events that followed. Just weeks after the call, Dumanis' office opened an investigation into Padilla and the rest of the Chula Vista Council for allegedly not attending redevelopment corporation meetings but collecting pay for them. No charges were filed. The office did, however, press charges in 2006 against Padilla's aide, Jason Moore, for lying to a grand jury, resulting in a misdemeanor plea deal. That same year, Dumanis also looked into whether then Chula Vista Councilman Steve Castaneda had received special favors from a developer. A grand jury later indicted him for perjury for what a newspaper columnist described as lying during an investigation into a crime he did not commit that wasn't a crime to begin with. Dumanis refused an interview request. Lawyer Colin Murray, who once worked in the DA's office and represented one of the council members in the Chula Vista investigations, described Dumanis' call to Padilla and her subsequent probes Conflict of Interest 101.
For a sitting district attorney who has law enforcement responsibility across the county to call the mayor of a city and ask for somebody to be appointed is something, I think, beyond the scope of the office. Because anything that happens in that city, any investigation of the city itself or the council members are then going to be tainted by the fact that she's made this specific recommendation.
The chief prosecutor in all of the Chula Vista inquiries, Deputy District Attorney Patrick O'Toole, declined an interview. But in a written statement, O'Toole says he was unaware of Dumanis' call to Padilla until early 2008 when he saw a copy of a letter from the Chula Vista Better Government Association. The letter mentions the call as part of a request that other prosecutors investigate whether Dumanis abused her power by trying to influence the council appointment process in Chula Vista. O'Toole says the letter concerned him, but he says when he tried to discuss it with Dumanis' right-hand man, Assistant District Attorney Jesse Rodriguez, he was cut off and told to do his job. Had he known of the call from the outset, O'Toole says he would have urged the DA's office to recuse itself from the Chula Vista investigation. And O'Toole says Castaneda's lawyer, Mark Carlos, should have been told of the conflict. Carlos says he first learned of Dumanis' 2005 call from KPBS recently.
If she was trying to do something to get a political favorite in a position of power at the expense of my client, it clearly shows a vexatious prosecution. It's illegal, for one, and it's unethical. So I think it's certainly something I needed to know.
O'Toole says because of the call, Dumanis should have allowed Castaneda's case to be settled for a misdemeanor plea without insisting on his immediate resignation. In fact, Castaneda says the office did offer such a deal, but he says it was rescinded within 24 hours before he could accept or reject it. A second deal was offered that required him to resign. He refused. He says Padilla's acknowledgement of Dumanis' call has helped clarify what happened to him.
These things are circumstantial, I guess you might want to say, but they all kind of lead to the same sort of supposition. I think a prudent individual, somebody that was objective, would say there's something a little bit more than meets the eye here.
A jury acquitted Castaneda on 6 charges and hung on 2 others in 2008. This week, Castaneda called on Dumanis to release all emails connected to his prosecution. Her spokeswoman released a statement saying the case was closed and the office will not be used as a, quote, political pawn. KPBS also asked for those emails several weeks ago, but was told they did not exist and they would be exempt from disclosure anyway. Amita Sharma, KPBS News.